Think about each of us in our careers, how long it takes us to get to the top of that mountain. And yet, in a matter of 4 or 5 seconds, you fall right off of a cliff. Trust takes years to build, seconds to break, forever to repair. This guy's name is Gerald Ratner. For those who don't know who Gerald Ratner is, he was the CEO of a jewelry empire. Somebody in a conference just like this raised their hand and they said, "Gerald, how is it that you sell jewelry so inexpensively?" And his answer was, "Because we sell crap." What he didn't know was in the room were several journalists. It took him 20 years to build up his empire, and he lost $1 billion a day later. Let me introduce myself. I'm Chuck Garcia. I'm a former Wall Streeter. I spent many, many years, most of my career was at Bloomberg, and several years at an investment management firm called BlackRock. I'm also a mountaineer. I've climbed a lot of mountains all over the world. And it hit me as I was descending Mount Kilimanjaro. It felt like a career. And it felt like a career because I knew in order for my team and me to get to the top and the bottom of Kilimanjaro, we had 3 things in mind. Number 1, we had to set a goal. Number 2, we took 1 step at a time to get to the top. There was no shortcut to any mountain I've ever climbed. And 3, you can't do it alone. This mountaineering is a metaphor for how you are going to set your life. I'm privileged to have written a book that I hope impacted and gave people the ability to be inspired to do the things that come difficult to them. It's about the way that we communicate with others. It's about how we hold ourselves, because it's how we communicate both verbally and non-verbally that is important for your career ascent. If you've got whatever you've developed and you can't communicate it, you are no closer to the top of your mountain than you were when you developed it. Communication usually fails, except by accident. Your words have power. They have power to persuade. They have power to love. They have power to destroy and destruct. This is what many people think success is like if they just do all these things that you're taught to do. When in fact what I found out, it looks something more like that. I coach a lot of people that are terrified about making mistakes. Success is what happens after you've learned from those mistakes, and if you haven't made any mistakes, the good part is you'll never fail. The bad part is you'll never succeed. The first commandment, this is based on what's called the 10 Commandments of Great Presenters. Number 1 is called the primacy and recency effect. People remember the first thing you say, that's the primacy effect, and when you leave, they will remember the last thing you say. Second commandment, when we engage, when we want to meet someone and we want to get to know them, we need to speak to the heart. In fact, we're so caught up in being the smartest guy in the room, we're too much in the mind. And we think that we're going to do a mind meld. Screw the mind meld. You don't sell on mind meld. You sell on a heart. You sell on emotion. What do you want your audience to do? 3 things. What do you want them to think? What do you want them to feel? What do you want them to do? Everybody, please stand up. Fire away!